I have had difficult friends throughout my life in different moments and seasons. And I gotta tell you, it's exhausting. And I'm not friends with those people anymore. I have so many horror stories. Well, to me, they're horror stories because they triggered my fear of abandonment in ways that I didn't realize until I started therapy. Like, for example, I had one friend who we went to college, high school and college with. Like, she borrowed my clothes, she borrowed my shoes. I'd met her parents. And when we graduated from college, she tells me, I feel like we're surface friends. Surface friends, but you've worn my clothes, you've worn my shoes. We've been neighbors for 6 years. We decided to go to the school at the same time. How? I had one friend who was like, I feel like you asked me to give you a ride somewhere and that took advantage of me. 2 months after, out of our friend group, I was the only one who remembered her law school graduation. I had one friend who I'd been friends with for 17 years who, I think 7 months before my wedding, sent me an email to let me know that have a nice life because clearly she's not being invited to my wedding. Mind you, I hadn't sent out invitations yet, and she absolutely was. Difficult friends are friends who assume things of you, don't ask questions, will silent treatment you, and just build stories in their heads. And that's exhausting. And difficult friends are hard to have because sometimes they're kind of abusive because they weaponize the silent treatment. They weaponize the fact that they don't like conflict. So they will instead have you constantly thinking, are they okay? Are we all right? And they'll never be upfront until like all of a sudden they go, I'm mad at you, we can't be friends no more. Difficult friends will trigger childhood wounds for you because all the ways in which you've had to learn perfection because you thought perfection is what made you be lovable. When you make a mistake with difficult friends, they will scalp you for it. We are too old and life is too short for difficult friends. The difficult friends that I've had in the past are no longer my friends because, man, the part of me that always felt like she was competing for love, difficult friends will fuck with you, right? You know what I'm saying? So it was when I started therapy that I started realizing the pattern. And I'd be like, what am I doing? Is it me? Am I the drama? And I would say one thing, I might not be a perfect friend, but I've always been a friend who gave grace to my friends. I see my friends and assume the best of them. So even if they do something to hurt my feelings, I would say something as opposed to just being quiet because I know their heart. But difficult friends don't do that. And we're too old for that, y'all. If you have a friend who you're always nervous about saying something to because you don't know how they're going to take it and you don't know how they're going to react after the fact, that's a difficult friend. And it's not, that's not great because they will wound you because of the fact that they're wounded. They're so easily triggered. They're hyper vigilant trying to prove that you're not really their friend because it shows their patterns. Like it basically makes them more comfortable when they are pushing people away because that might be a lifelong pattern of theirs that lets them know you didn't reject me, I rejected you first. That's exhausting. So if you're listening to this and anybody came to mind as I was talking, that might be your difficult friend. If you're listening to this and you're like, oh shoot, that's me, this is an opportunity to reflect and fix that piece because that dynamic is harmful. And when you wonder why you can't form deep community, you might have been a difficult friend. Just bring grace into the room. Be okay with conflict. And recognize that everybody won't always get it right. Everybody won't always show up for you all the time. But if you have all built something special, a friendship, a sisterhood, or a community, give them grace. Talk it through. Because on the other side of the conflict will be a stronger bond. So don't be a difficult friend. And if you have a difficult friend, it's okay to release them because they're doing harm.